What is up, everybody? It's Mr. Bradley here, and we are bringing back an oldie but a goodie. Confessions of a Married Man. Let's get into it. So, I decided to bring back Confessions of a Married Man. I got a couple of messages on IG asking me why I stopped it, why I never brought it back. So here it is. I know a lot of this channel, obviously you get a ton of CC, so you get a ton of women perspective. Really, what I feel like is a not a lost cause, but a subject that's not really spoke on in America, and that's the thoughts and feelings of a husband. Because we go through a lot of things and we experience a whole lot of stuff as well, but we're trained and taught not to speak on them things. And a lot of us don't have relationship advice. It's not like most of the relationship advice that you get it's not per se always coming from, what's the word I'm looking for? Your fellas who are not always got the right thought process when they're giving you advice. So I think a series like this is going into a lane that ain't a lot of people driving in. So that's why I thought I would bring back this series and hit on some things. So today's topic is something that I've had to learn over the years, and I've gotten way better at. It is an art. It is something that you have to work at. It is something that is one that it's not just a male thing, but as men, we have to learn how to do this. Not per se do this, but learn and understand this thing I'm about to say and know how to maneuver through it. All right? Being right is overrated. All right? Being right is overrated. Yes, that's what I said. Being right is overrated. Now, what do you mean when you say that word? I'm going to get into that. So when I say being right is overrated, I got a couple of things that play off of that, all right? So what's the end goal of an argument? Or an argument, I don't even like to call them arguments, because an argument is usually two people going at each other without much resolution coming from it. You talking at them, they talking at you. You talking at them, they talking at you. Nobody's point is really being heard. Everybody just wants to get out what they want to say. So I like to say, what's the end game of a discussion? Do you want to be right, or do you want to rectify the situation? Because me, at this point, I want to rectify the situation. Need be it, however it gets done. Either it got to be through a multiple amount of conversations or understanding, or me pointing out examples, and you and this discussion via CC, her having her side and her thought process with it, and us sharing that mindset. And I don't per se want to be like, oh, what I told you to do, if you'd have did it what I told you to do, or did it how I told you to do, then everything would be good. No, I want the situation rectified. Be it if she come up with the game plan to get it done, or she make me see the error in my ways, I don't care, as long as it's done. Like, that should be the end game. Being right, another thing, as far as being right is overrated, is petty arguments or petty responses when you know you've lost an argument or a discussion. Like, that's so toxic. Like, can we address that? Like, that is super toxic to be having a discussion. You made your point, he or she made their point. You made your point, you make your point, he or she makes their point, and you start to see like, oh, maybe I misunderstood what you were saying, or I didn't see it that way. However, but you still continue that argument. Like, that's petty. Let that go. Like, that's so toxic, and it really has no space in a healthy relationship. I'm being honest with you. Like, if you want a healthy, thriving relationship, you gotta let that go. Like, understand, be grown, understand that, you know what, I misunderstood that, and move on from it. Because this pouting or like, oh well, this is what I meant to say type of deal, and back and forth, like that gets nowhere. Like, understanding what you said was misunderstood, acknowledge that. Like, that's another big thing, like communicating that across. Like, hey, you know what, I didn't see it that way, and my bad. Like, I was wrong, my bad. Being right is overrated. So my next point off of that is learn when the argument / discussion is over. There's nothing else that can be taken from this discussion, because that's what a big thing we as men have to learn is you should take every discussion and get something from it. So when you're having an argument, a back and forth, and it's getting to the point where you're name calling or you just saying things to just be mean and vengeful and just to, like, I don't know, hurt. Like, when you going at somebody to the point where you're trying to hurt them, like, yo, dog, let that go. Like, we have to get into a lane of understanding when the argument is over. It's like, okay, you know what? Even being able to accept and be like, you know what? Nothing's coming from this. I'm saying what I'm saying. You saying what you saying. I ain't hearing what you saying. You ain't hearing what I'm saying. So let's just close the book on this and talk about it later. Now, the person you're discussing this with may not like that, and they may not want to do that, but understanding that there's nothing else going to be gained from this is a whole nother different level of understanding and growth that most people never reach. Next thing is kind of piggybacking off of that is take something from this discussion. There's no point in being in a relationship with somebody if you're going to continue to make the same mistakes. I don't know, I wouldn't say mistakes, but you're going to continue to do the same things that you got to this argument. Like, the end game of a successful relationship should be, I ain't gonna say no arguments, because that's just not, it just don't happen. That's why I like to use the word discussion, because there will never not be any discussion, because y'all, at the end of the day, y'all still two different people, so y'all still gonna think two different ways at times. Now those over time, those thoughts and opinions may start to align even more where the discussions ain't there, but they'll never completely be gone. There'll always be misunderstandings. So being able to take from an argument and learn how to maneuver through that and be like, oh, you know what? I remember when we were discussing this last time and she said this. Or I remember when we was had that last discussion a few minutes ago and she did tell me this pissed her off. Maybe I should not do that. Or, you know what? I don't want her in a bad mood. So, you know what? She mentioned she don't like when I say these things, this or that. I ain't gonna say that. Now, because if it was something that's really near and dear and passionate to you, then that would already been discussed as well. So if it's something that maybe she has a feeling or a thought process behind that, that's a discussion that needs to be continued. But if y'all had a discussion, had an understanding, and it was over, then you have to formulate a plan to put that discussion into motion and to make it a part of your everyday. All right. Lastly, and most importantly, learn to say these two simple words: I'm sorry, and then actually mean it. Not like, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, just to get the argument over. Like, no, you have to learn how to admit fault and move forward with it. Like, you know what? I shouldn't have said that. I was wrong. I understand that when I did A, it made you feel like B, and thus C happened, which I don't want to happen. Because in the end, you don't want your significant other feeling uncomfortable or mad or upset. At least most people don't want that. So learning how to say I'm sorry is it sounds really simple, but it's probably one of the hardest things that people do, especially with an argument, especially like a heated argument. People can't say I'm sorry and move past it. And really, most people can't say I'm sorry. Like, when you get really, really healthy, you can say I'm sorry and get past it that same day. Most people can't have an argument or a discussion and be good. Like, I feel like that's a healthy checkpoint within a relationship / marriage, when you can have a discussion and y'all going at it, y'all going back and forth, really like at each other's neck to an extent, and be like, I hear what you, and at the end of it, hear what the other person is saying, and everything be back kosher. Like, oh, okay, what you want for dinner? Or what you thinking about eating? Or I'm about to run to the store, do you want me to pick you up something? And be back good. Like, that's the sign of a healthy and thriving relationship, when you can disagree with each other and it doesn't roll over. Like, to me, that's the sign of a really healthy, flourishing relationship, fellas. And that's what you should be striving for. Like, that toxic behavior, if you want toxic behavior, this ain't the videos for you. Like, if you like that petty shit and arguing and back and forth and somebody who can give you headaches, this ain't the video for you. This ain't the topic for you. This ain't the series for you. You should click off. You shouldn't even watch this video this far, because this ain't what I'm preaching. What I'm preaching is I'm trying to help fellas get to a healthy point within a marriage or a relationship. I want you to be able to, like I said, have that argument or discussion and be able to move on. So that is going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content on this, enjoyed the discussion points. Ladies, fellas, if y'all got anything y'all want me to hit on, please leave it down below. Also, don't forget to like this video. Hit me with a couple of thumbs up. Let me know if you want me to continue to do this series. I know I'm bringing it back. Probably going to do a few episodes, but if you want to see more, please let me know down below what you want to hear me talk about, what you want to see me jump into. I would love to tackle more topics, alright? But for this video, that is going to do it. Until the next one, it is Mr. Bradley checking out. Peace.